for the crop. Nobody does it better.
Hey, but you are so money and you don't even know it.
I understood that reference.
Morning, Mr. Hammond.
Your mission,
Should you accept it, steal, destroy, shadow, disappear.
assemble the team.
And here we go.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Freewheeling Fridays. I am your host, Ryan of Antico Channel. This is the show where we introduce you to some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them specifically by taking your questions. And we also dabble and have discussion points about other realms of pop culture. So if there's anything you want to address, whether it's the new Superman movie that's beating everybody else at the box office, or you want to talk about Jurassic World having a rebirth, which I don't know why, and quite frankly, I don't know how that happened. But, well, I have an idea, but we don't get into that. But if you want to talk about that, let us know. But in the meantime, aside from that craziness, please welcome our guest of honor for the week from not just any kind of line. The line must be drawn here, this fall, no further. No. It's Finish Line Comics. Ed Davis is here. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, man. Thanks for being with us, and thank you for being with us and maybe watching or listening to this program right now. Do not forget to like and share with your closest friends, right? And also, if you're watching us live or on Memorex, there's a throwback for you, Ed. Hello there. There's one way of doing it.
Pull out the cassette tapes.
Exactly, and I still have a few.
Yeah, I have some hiding somewhere as well.
Do you? Fantastic.
Yeah,
See, you
out
and
in
I
the
are
garage.
both.
They probably won't play for shit by this point, but they still exist. I still got the box that's sealed, it's Memorex and TDK
Memorex.
and all those fun things.
That's right, TDK. That was the other one, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, TDK was the competitor.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a fair. See, you're bringing up the flashbacks already, and we haven't even started. But yeah. So, and if you like I said, if you have any questions for the guest of honor, let us know in the comments or the chat. Pops is here. He says, Ed, Ryan. Okay.
Ed.
Does that mean you're not happy to see me, but you're happy to see Ed, Pops? What are you trying to say? Because you do ... What does that mean? Are you trying to inform me of something? I'm just joshing you, man. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Matthew Creek, if I'm saying that right, he says hello. Says hi. Hello, Matthew. How are you? Hope everything is well in your neck of the woods, respectively. Pops, hope everything is well in your neck of the woods, too. With that out of the way, Ed, when did you first start reading comics?
Reading comics, I would have probably been about 5 years old. I lived out in the desert. We had nothing to do. It was kind of a desolate, boring lifestyle. And we would go once a week to the swap meet. And I went to the swap meet and bought kind of a battered, used copy of a Spider-Man trade that collected, I think, the first 6 issues and Amazing Fantasy. And that just got me hooked on comics. I read that till all the pages had fallen out and then went back to the swap meet and just bought everything. I bought Avengers. I bought Batman. I got so hooked on that because I was an early reader. Like I said, it was a pretty boring lifestyle. So I learned to jump bikes in the desert and read books when you got home at night. So I just read and just dug through all of those early Marvel ones and collected editions that I could find.
Good titles, man. Good characters, too. Obviously, some of the more popular ones for sure. And then Pops goes on to say, I have a Faster Pussycat cassette tape signed and still sealed.
Wow.
I don't know what Faster Pussycat is, but sorry, probably before my time.
Metal band.
No, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. And then he also says, I'm in a remote location this week. All right, well, I hope everything's well in your remote location.
Yeah, I know he was saying that when I was talking to him because he was talking to me on Thursday when we were wrapping up our music show.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, hope everything's well for you, Pops. Just throwing that out there as a hey, positivity abounds, my friend. No, you mentioned some good characters there. Fascinating stuff. Spider-Man, Hulk, Avengers, all that kind of jazz. I get it.
Yeah.
It's some of the popular ones. Don't get me wrong. Swap meets. Those are 2 words I haven't heard put together in a while. I know what they are. I've been to a few, but swap, man, that's taking us back.
It was.
Years.
I mean, sadly, when I was in the desert, it's grown now. It's more populated. It's got proper things like grocery stores and schools. But when I was there was a school, a grocery store, and a couple restaurants smattered here and there. And as the time progressed, it's grown. But the big thing to do was go to the swap meet. That was the thing. There was no movie theater. There was a drive-in, but you'd have to drive an hour to get there. I mean, we went there, but the swap meet, that was where all the locals would converge and sell their junk and, buy other people's junk. So yeah, that was the hangout. And, you bring a $5 bill there and you walk out with some good stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I totally dig it. Just out of curiosity, though, you said you were riding dirt bikes when you were a bit younger.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: were you pretending that you were on a speeder bike like they were in that poster behind you, Return of the Jedi? Did you ever imagine yourself
Oh,
on the Forest Moon of
absolutely.
Endor, going 300 miles an hour, chasing after those scout troopers?
Oh, Star Wars and comics were absolute obsessions with me and all my friends. So we would pretend all of those things. It would be speeder bikes. It would be, when it would snow, we were going to be running through Hoth. So yeah, we did it all because comics, Star Wars, Star Trek. That's what fueled our life at that point.
Wow, that's so. All right, well, I got to ask you because the poster's behind it. Is Return of the Jedi your favorite Star Wars movie, or is it just one of your favorites? How do you feel about Star Wars as far as the movies go? Which one would you say is your favorite?
Empire is my favorite. That
Okay.
particular one I got because I bought it signed. It's signed by George Lucas. It's signed by Kenny Baker.
Whoa.
So I got it because it was signed, and the Empire version of that with the same amount of signatures was triple the price. So I bought the one I could afford. I love the original trilogy, but Empire's definitely my number one.
Favorite scene in Empire?
It's got to be the AT-ATs. I friggin' love the AT-ATs. I mean, I love that was my obsession. I love the whole movie's just a perfect movie. Mm-hmm. But I love the Hoth sequence.
The Battle of Hoth.
The Battle of Hoth, because that was when I had the toys as a kid. That's the scene that I recreated in so many different ways. And of course, one of your friends who had the more well-off parents had an AT-AT. So you're like, all right, we're all going to his house so we can use his AT-AT and do this right. And we're putting cotton balls all over the ground so we can be snow when there's no snow. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just because that's the thing I recreated, and I've written 1,000 more scenes in Hoth. So it's like, all right, I could write an entire series of what happened in Hoth. I'm sure someone else has, but in our minds, we made all kinds of fun scenarios.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah, the Battle of Hoth is solid. I mean, the whole movie is great, but
yeah, there's not a bad moment in
there. Really isn't. There really isn't. But I will say this to you: the Battle of Hoth. I keep watching it more and more over again because I just realize how great of a battle it is, and it's really David versus Goliath because the AT-AT walkers are literally Goliath, or like elements of Goliath, marching through, just ramming everything in their path. Mm-hmm. And the snow speeders can't even hit them because that armor's too strong for blasters. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, what do we got to do? Well, you got to use the tow cables. Got to wrap them around. Yep. And take them out that way. So the rebels had to think real quick. Yeah. And there was a lot of cannon fodder, in the trenches and whatnot. But I will say, I wish I could be in the scene, but I wish I would be one of the guys in the trenches just firing blasters at him because I want to be on the ground with the crew rather than just being in a snow speeder. I like snow speeders, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if I were in the trenches and I had John Williams' score playing behind us and you got the AT-ATs just marching at us and I'm just like, keep firing, guys. Like, we got this, we got this. And then finally, the commander comes in towards the end. He's like, retreat, begin retreat, because they crashed the shield generator. So, yeah. And then General Veers went on to play, my name is Walter Donovan, in my favorite Indiana Jones movie, Last Crusade. So,
that's right.
Yeah, General Veers, prepare your men. I mean, come on. So many good lines. Lines. So that's your favorite part. What's your favorite line that is spoken in Empire Strikes Back?
Wow.
What's your favorite line? You have a favorite one?
Oh, man. I mean, I love Never Tell Me the Odds.
Yeah. Yeah, C-3PO. Oh, my God. I was laughing so hard when I saw that.
Yeah.
Laughing so hard because he's all panicky and everyone else is like, cool, calm. Like, we know we're in trouble, but we can't, like, show it because we got to focus on what we're doing. So, process 3,720 to 1. Never tell me the odds. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many iconic lines, but I'm going to go for one that not everybody's quoting because, Yoda's lines, so many iconic ones, and now they're on inspirational posters, so it's kind of
true.
Like, Yoda's become, the poster meme, but it was just so well written, and I think it's kind of the pinnacle of Star Wars. Not that I don't enjoy Jedi, but you can pick that apart more. If you dissect it, you can find the flaws, but it's still a good movie. But I think it's just Empire was the top, and I don't think it'll ever be beat, but it's hard to beat a movie that's one of my top 10 movies of all time.
That's fair. That's completely fair. And that movie just turned 45 this year, Empire Strikes Back. Happy 45th, by the way. Cast and crew, well done. We love you guys. We did a 45th anniversary watch-along back in, I think it was May for Empire Strikes Back. We had a May the 4th Be With You Star Wars special, and then we did the watch-along, I think, a week or so later for Empire. So it's all there on the End I Quote channel playlist, folks. Check out our Star Wars Nerds playlist. It's all there, trust me. And you're going to like the way you look after watching or listening to that content over there, Ed Davis. I guarantee it. Once again, we are here with Ed Davis on Freewheeling Fridays. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know down below. And if you're watching us live on Memorex, there's a throwback. Hello there. Let's see here. Pop says you were Evel Knievel at one point because you were riding dirt bikes. So there you go.
Yeah, we were doing all the dumb shit because we were basically, the rules of the house were don't come in if it's light. So we had to find stuff to get into. And that was bikes. You know, we're jumping, we could dig big trenches, and you know, you have all day to do it. You have all summer that you're stuck. So we are just building these elaborate dirt trails and falling on our ass a lot. I fell on multiple cactuses.
Did you?
Cacti, I guess, to be proper. And yeah, that's no joke. Yeah, so we did some dumb stuff because it was there were cacti, Joshua trees.
Joshua tree? Wow.
Yeah, Joshua tree. You can only find them in that part of SoCal, and a shit ton of dirt. So Joshua Tree, not just a YouTube album, but yeah, it was not a lot to do. So we would do stupid stuff we probably shouldn't have.
No. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Pop says his favorite line in the movie is, "I know." Yeah. And that was kind of towards the end there too. They were mixing and matching the scene. They couldn't figure out what to say, and then Harrison Ford just blurted it out, and they kept it in there. So
yeah, and sometimes the best scenes are made like that. They're not on purpose. They're just the actors in that moment, and they create perfection.
That's true. You know, my favorite line from Empire is, "You stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder." Who's scruffy looking?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude. And then when Chewie laughs before that, he's like, "Laugh it up, fuzzball." But you didn't see us alone in the South Passage. Yeah. She expressed her true feelings for me.
Han's got all the good lines.
Does he? I think he does.
It's so smooth. He's so smooth. I mean, it's such a good character.
Yeah, I think he's smooth. I think he's more smooth as a character than Lando was to a certain extent. Even though Lando had some good lines too, man.
Yeah,
he knew how to pick up the girl. Like he knew how to swing in there and be like, "You look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
You truly belong here with us amongst the clouds." You know, it is suave, isn't it? And another thing I like about it is Vader saying, because people have added this here and there over the years. They've said it on posters or social media posts, I'm sure. "I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further."
Yeah.
You know? Or he says, "Perhaps you feel you're being treated unfairly." No. "Good. It would be unfortunate if I had to leave a garrison here." And then he says, "This deal's getting worse all the time." You could say that about anything, though. You could say that about your job. You could say that about your insurance company. Like, you could say that about anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So that's the beauty of having all these words being said on screen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But Empire is good. But as far as the OG trilogy goes, I think my favorite is the OG, New Hope.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's my favorite.
They're very close. I think Empire wins, but I think it's also because I was older when it came out. I mean, I was when Star Wars, when A New Hope came out, or just Star Wars when it came out, I was 3.
Wow.
And, I mean, I remember loving it, but Empire, I would have been. How many years was it between? It was
3 years, so it came out in 1980.
I would have been
1980.
I would have been about 6 at that point, and I think your 6-year-old brain is processing a lot more. And yeah, that was just, I had all the toys. I remember having all the different toys that you could get from Empire that, you know, and then I remember the one thing you want is an X-Wing fighter or a TIE fighter. And I get the Cloud, the one from the Cloud City, the little double thing. It's like, man, begging for that one, but yeah, you make do with it. Use the cotton balls and make them clouds instead of snow now.
I don't have a landing permit. I'm trying to reach Orlando Calrissian. You will not deviate from your present course. Rather touchy, aren't they? Sorry, I can just quote Star Wars all night, son. Pop says, "I was just 14 when it came out, and it was the coolest thing we had ever seen up to that point."
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, when the Star Destroyer comes over your head in the first 2 minutes, like 3 minutes of the movie, after the, you know, what is it called, the opening crawl, happens, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, what is going on? I'm in a different world and I love it. Can we have more of this? Can we have more of this? Yeah. The binary sunset scene. Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
It kills me every time. I love it. Love it. So there's, Pops is agreeing with me. See, Pops, you and I can agree on certain things. Not everything, but just out of curiosity though, what would you say were some of your favorite comic writers or artists, past or present?
I grew up loving Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane when they were doing their stuff with Marvel. Favorite writers would have to be Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, and Garth Ennis. Those are my top, because what really got me super hooked on comic books, I mean, I always read them, I always enjoyed them, but it was when I started reading the Vertigo stuff of the 90s that I became fanatical about comic books, because I realized you could tell true stories in those, not just, hero of the week kind of stuff.
Okay. All right, man. I haven't heard those names in a bit. Maybe one or two of them I'm not familiar with. Sorry, I'm still a little bit new to the comic realm. I only started reading less than a decade ago, so still got a ways to go. First, I started reading comics on Batman Day 2017. There you go.
Okay.
And as you can see, I'm a lot happier. So yeah. Sorry, I watched '89's Batman one too many times. So let me be honest.
Oh yeah, that's another one of my top movies. We have the 6 scale Batmobile in our living room, and we built a coffee table to hold it. So we have a Batmobile coffee table from the '89 Batman.
That's awesome. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, now I got to know this, because this is a follow-up question to what we were talking about earlier. What are some of your favorite movies, past or present, that you have not mentioned yet? So you've mentioned the Star Wars movies. You mentioned Batman '89, which, I mean, Batman '89 is like one of the pillars. So, but what else do you like? What else is on your mind?
Ghostbusters is one of my top ever movies. It was one of those things where, same thing. I mean, we're living in the desert, we're bored, and there's this abandoned house by us, and we decide, me and my friends, that we're going to be the Ghostbusters. We're going to take down this house, and we are going to cleanse it of the ghosts. So yeah, from the point I saw that movie, I was a Ghostbuster in my own mind. So that's definitely one of my top.
All right. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it's a big Twinkie. So tell me about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie? It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. I mean, the whole movie's great, but that scene in particular where they're talking, Egon's got these readings. He says something big's on the horizon. What do you mean by big? Well, let's say that this Twinkie represents all the psychokinetic energy in the New York area. According to this morning's sample, will be a Twinkie 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds. That's a big Twinkie. We could go a 4-wheel cross rip, a PKA surge of adrenaline, even dangerous proportions. We just had a visit from the Environmental Protection Agency. How's the grid holding up? It's not good. Tell them about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie? It's just, come on, man. You can't, I mean, the fact that Venkman doesn't believe anything that's going on in the first, probably the whole movie, but specifically the first 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
When they're in the library and then they come up with the idea for the business and then they get the proton packs and they go into the hotel. And even then, Venkman's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't care. I'm just here. You know what I mean? Like, what? We haven't had a successful test of his equipment yet. Why worry? Each one of us is wearing a nuclear accelerator on his back. I mean, what is so good? Man, it seems like you got a lot of 80s favorites here. It seems like the 80s were your thing. Does that include The Last Starfighter?
I did love that one. Yeah, that one.
Because I was going to say, speaking of being in the desert in the middle of nowhere, The Last Starfighter kind of takes place in a mobile home park that's like in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah, and that I swear that's my surroundings. I know I can feel that whole setting because it's just what I was surrounded by. I mean, we had a proper house, but half the streets, it was mobile homes. We were on a dirt road street. So where we were at that point, our neighbor now is 6 doors down. So if you go back to the neighborhood, that's how far apart we were.
Okay.
Because they built it up. Now the desert, that particular area of the desert is become more desirable because it was the more inexpensive houses you can get. But it's trailers everywhere and still a lot of dirt roads. But the particular dirt road that I grew up on, it's now paved, and it's actually, I go back there once in a while because one of the comic shops I do signings at is maybe half a mile from my old house. So anytime I'm there, I'm like, all right, I got to drive by the old place. I got to drive by the old haunted house. see if it's still haunted, and see if me and my dumb friends are going to throw rocks through the window and try to kill the ghost with Weed Eater again.
My goodness. Wow. Great adventures out there in SoCal.
Yeah, when you're bored, when you're bored and you have a friend with an overactive imagination, you get into some shit.
You know, I've never been to the state of California before.
Really?
Never been. I've never been out to the West Coast, to be perfectly honest with you. I've been, because I live on the East Coast, because that's where my family and my friends are, respectively, of course. Yeah. But I've never been out to the other side of the country. I like to visit certain points of it. At some point, I like to visit certain locations. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I got to get myself out there. There's some good shows out there, too. So.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether it's ECCC, Emerald City, or, you know, Chicago, C2E2, and obviously SDCC is the WrestleMania of all conventions. You know, that's San Diego right there. So, you know, there's a couple of them. I think GalaxyCon has one in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's San Francisco, I want to say. By the way, if I'm wrong, folks, correct me in the chat. I just want to throw that out there. Pop says, I knew you two would get along. So that was all part of his master plan. Thanks, Pops. He says, I see future collaborations here, laughing out loud. Well, considering the fact that we both like Star Wars and some other properties like Batman 89 and all this other stuff that we've been jibber-jabbering about, I think it would work. Yeah. Brennan, who's a friend of mine, says, hello there. Hello, Brennan. Good to see you. He's a massive Star Wars fan, by the way.
Nice.
Good to see you, Brennan. Pops wants to know, how old is that Jaws cup you have behind you?
It was at San Diego Comic-Con. It's for the 50th anniversary. So they were selling them there. They had a booth set up that was selling Jaws 50th anniversary stuff. And I grabbed the cup and figure it could be my show cup. Because a few of the bands that I've had come on to my music show, they don't know what to focus on. So I'm like, focus on the cup and it'll look like you're looking at me, because they're not used to doing the talking through StreamYard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a bit different for them, I suppose. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. But
most of them are on their phones while they do it, which is not the ideal way to do StreamYard.
No, do it through a computer. Yeah. Or a tablet if push comes to shove. I've done it before. It happens. Nem is here. Nem says, hey, fellas, I'm going back to watching the Padres game. San Diego Padres, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I want to say, hey, a fellow SoCal resident. Sweet, says Nem. There you go.
Hey,
see?
Nem, he's tuned in on my show a few times. And my team's the Mets. I'm from the West Coast, but I'm a Mets fan, and they are spiraling. They are pure dog shit at this point.
Eesh. Sorry to hear that.
It's bad. So your Padres are probably going to take them and grab that wild card spot, because the Mets are just handing it away. I think today's loss number 8 in a row. So it's a bad run.
Oof. Sorry to hear that, folks. For those of you who are Mets fans, but Padres, hey, go Padres! 619.
Padres are looking solid, and they beat the crap out of the Mets too. So everyone's doing it these days.
Just got to take the victories when you can, folks. It's just what am I trying to say here? It's a situation. It's a fact of life. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book movies, past or present?
I mean, you got to go with Batman 89. That one is tops. I love the original Superman, because I believe that would have. I mean, 78. I was very young, but it was the first superhero movie that I ever saw. And then if you want to jump into the 90s, I love The Crow. I mean, again, you can pick it apart. It's a flawed movie, but at the time, it was such an amazing soundtrack, and it just was something different than all the superhero fare. And I mean, Avengers Endgame, I think, is an amazing movie as far as the Marvel universe goes, even though now it's kind of getting rehashed and dull. But I think that was a solid closer. And then they, after taking their final bow, they started to do things again and realize it's not so easy to get back to that same point.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Endgame, I mean, I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Endgame, really, to be honest.
You don't need to.
I know.
You're all good, trust me.
I was going to say, it's gone off the rails from what I've been told by people who I know, friends of ours, friends of mine, have said to me, hey, the movies aren't that good anymore. They've kind of gone off the deep end. But they're in the process of rebooting it now with Thunderbolts being out, and then they got Fantastic Four: The First Steps is doing really well, supposedly. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't speak to the quality. But then Captain America: Brave New World came and went very fast. It was a bomb, which is a shame too, because the trailer looked like they were going back to the Winter Soldier roots, and I wanted that because I like my comic book movies to be dark and gritty. You can still have levity. I don't mind levity. Believe me when I tell you. I don't mind having jokes in a comic book movie, but when you just throw a joke out every 2.5 seconds, I'm thinking to myself, does Marvel not take anything seriously? I mean, there are comedic characters in Marvel comics. I understand that. But I don't want that in a movie, because just because something works on a comic page doesn't mean it has to work in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's just take things seriously, Marvel. Come on. It's not that hard.
Rapid fire jokes aren't the solution to making good movies. And
No.
I think because it worked for James Gunn, it worked for Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel thought, oh, that's our formula now. Kind of like gritty Batman. I mean, I love the Batman movies by Nolan, but then everything DC had to be gritty Batman, and it's not. Your heroes are all different. They live in different worlds. They should have different tones. But then it was like, all right, everything dark, everything gritty. And that's when DC Universe fell apart. And Marvel Universe, when everything had to be kind of wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's when that universe fell apart. So that you need to realize that every comic movie needs its own tone and its own, its own writing. And instead of, oh, Batman Dark Knight was a success, so now all movies need to look like The Dark Knight and feel like The Dark Knight, and what you end up with is, Batman v Superman, a nightmare of a movie that just, no one loved and pretty much was the final nail in that universe.
Yeah, I mean, I do like elements of BVS, especially the director's cut, the Ultimate Edition as it's being.
Yeah, that does work better, and I thought the Justice League Snyder cut, even though the Dicks Online made it pretty messy, it was a better cut, because
it was.
Joss Whedon, he tried to Marvel it and throw in dumb jokes and
butchered it.
Yeah,
that's why there's two different versions. There's the Justice League, as they're calling it on social media, and then there's Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is the extended cut.
Yeah, the longer
4-hour cut.
Yeah,
which is way too long for J. I love JL, but don't give me 4 hours. And by the way, Zach, if you're watching this, because I know you do, stop making so many slow-mo sequences, because half of that movie was slow-mo. It was 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, I love DC. I'm a hardcore DC fan. I like both. I like DC more. You can like both, fellas. But if someone had to force me, gun to my head, Ed, I would say DC is my number one favorite, because Superman is my number one favorite character of all time.
Yeah.
So, and not just because of the Chris. I like many different iterations of Super. I loved Henry Cavill's iteration. I think he got the rough end of the straw.
Yeah.
Sadly, he did. But Man of Steel is still the cream that rises to the top. Oh yeah, still my favorite Superman movie. Sorry.
No, that one is great, and I had high hopes. And I think when you watch it, it's not all slow mo, and all of a sudden he wanted to make every scene feel like 300.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, in 300 they liked when I did that slow mo thing. Now that's our thing. We're the DC, and you could have trimmed 40 minutes off that freaking Justice League movie if you just move the battle scenes a little faster.
Yeah, it has its issues, right? Every project has had issues over the years. That's certain. A lot of studio interference during the DCEU time, though. There was a lot of interference, and there's actually a couple of books have been written about the Zack Snyder universe. One's called the Snyderverse Saga. I forget the name of the author, but I have the book here in my collection. I want to read it because I want to know everything about what happened and things of that nature, because that's a fascinating story within itself. I mean, granted, there is the unfortunate family tragedy that Zack Snyder and his wife had to deal with, and that's I get it. Take time away, take time for yourself, take time for your loved ones, because that is important at the end of the day, folks. Family is important, not just your job. But all the studio interference, all the behind the scenes issues that were being had, like that was a whole mess. And I want to read about it. So once I read about it, I'll give a review, an honest review on goodreads.com, which is an app you can put on your phone. Goodreads is a great app to keep track of all the books or comic books you're reading. It's a great app. I don't know if you're familiar with Goodreads, Ed, but
yes,
it's a really good app, and a lot of writers are on there too, using it to market to their audience. So well done, fellas. Well done. Because, all you got to do is take a look. It's in a book. See what I did there? There you go. There's your plug. I'm very, very good at this. But comic book movies, you mentioned some good ones there. There's no doubt about it. So what made you decide to become an indie comic book creator?
It was actually just meeting the right person. The story that I'm working on right now, Immortal Era, I had started it as a novel, and it was one of those things I never quite finished it, but never gave it up either. So what ended up happening was the librarian at the school that I work at, he is a comic artist, and we were just kind of talking story ideas, and I told him about my story that I had been writing, and he said, you know what, we have to turn this into a comic book. So at that point, I started to adapt it into a comic series. That would have been at about probably like 2017 when I started moving everything over. And that's what made me realize I can do a comic book, because up to that point, honestly, I thought you had to be an artist to be a comic book writer. I didn't realize that artist and comic writer are two entirely different things. And you can have zero artistic ability, have the skills to draw nothing but a stick man, and yet you can be a comic writer. And when I came to that realization, that's when I poured everything, all those notes, all, hundreds and hundreds of pages, started just converting them over into a comic script.
Wow, look at you, just throwing yourself into a somewhat of a lion's den, and you're kicking tail and taking names. So more power to you. What would you say are some of the rewards about being an indie comic creator?
I mean, I think the best moments are when you're doing a con, you're doing a show, and someone walks up to you with a huge smile on their face and they loved what they read. I mean, and I would guess this would go for any kind of writing. And when someone just comes up to you and wants to pick your brain because they loved the characters, they loved the plot, they're probing you like, what's going to happen next? Oh my gosh, I need to know what's going to happen with this character or that character. And having that excitement, someone so elated over something that you made, it's a hard feeling to beat.
Yeah, totally, 100%. And this is once again, this is Freewheeling Fridays with the guest of honor, Ed Davis. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. If you're watching us live on the replay, thank you for doing so. Cannot do this without you. Very valid point, because my first short story just got published a couple of weeks ago, and I got my author copy not too long ago either. And when you have that story and you have it being held in your hands, it's a totally different feeling. It's one thing to submit it. It's one thing to, edit, get the stuff down and get it on paper, and then you send it into a publisher or whatever the case may be. But then when you hear from them and say, hey, we like your story, we're going to publish it, we're going to get things rolling here, we're going to make this thing a reality. And then when you hold it in the palm of your hand,
yeah,
it's a whole different vibe, brother. So, and you've been there. I've had the experience of being there because I have my own copy now. Thanks, Veritas Entertainment, my publisher. You guys are kicking tail and taking names. So if you're into men's adventure fiction type stories like Indiana Jones, Rocketeer, The Shadow, The Phantom, that kind of jazz, look up Veritas Entertainment. Great group of people over there. And they got tons and tons of paperbacks that are out right now on Amazon. So
nice.
Want to give a plug to my friends over there, Veritas Entertainment. So
very cool.
Yeah, if you like men's adventure fiction, high adventure stuff, pulpy stuff, pulp stories of yesteryear, or stuff in the modern day too, because there's modern day stuff out there. It's called new pulp, just so everybody's clear. Check it out, Veritas Entertainment. Type it in on Amazon. It's all there. We're going to do the honor of putting the link to the Western Tales Volume 1, which is where my short story Wolf of the West is published in. We'll put a link in the comments so you guys can check it out and get yourself a copy on ebook, paperback, or hardcover. So there you go. Everybody wins. Flip side of the coin, though, what are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic creator?
I'd say it's just building an audience. The hardest thing you need to do is get readers, especially with me. I'm publishing an ongoing series. It's going to end after 24 issues, but you need readers who are going to be in it for the long haul. And getting those readers is the hardest thing, because people that go to a con, 90% of them are going to pass you. They're going to walk away. They're not going to want to stop, even if it sounds interesting, because they're going to run off to get the autograph from this person or that person. And getting readers, keeping readers, that's one of the biggest challenges, I would have to say.
Definitely. Yep. I can understand that 100%. What advice would you give to aspiring indie comic writers out there?
I mean, I think don't do what I did. I rushed right in. I had no idea what I was doing on so many accounts. So what I would say is talk to other creators, go to cons, go to small press, talk to these people that have successfully got a book on the table and see what worked for them, what didn't work. Try to learn from their mistakes. You'll still make your own. It's inevitable. But what you need to do is always talk to other people, pick their brains so that you can try to avoid all the pitfalls. Because like so many things in life, I just dove right in and didn't pay a lot of attention. So my pages ended up formatted wrong, a lot of mistakes along the way. So find people who have been there and have them give you their guidance along the way.
In other words, the more you know. There's there's another flashback for you. I'm sorry. I got so many references on the brain.
See, and I'm an 80s kid. I'm getting them all.
You're getting them all? Okay.
I even got your cassette one and threw a new brand out for you. So
That's true. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. That's fair. That's fair. It's actually funny. A friend of mine, and not to take away the attention from this episode of Freewheeling Fridays, but a friend of mine has a Kickstarter going for his audiobook for his book called Memoirs of an Angel, The Great Pilgrim by Brian Robin. BrianRobin.com is where you can get a paperback copy of it. And he's actually going to have one of the tiers is going to include a cassette case with a code to the digital copy of the audiobook inside the case.
Very cool.
So you can relive the 80s or 90s, whatever it was.
In that cassette case.
And you have the digital code that tells you how you can access the audiobook for Memoirs of an Angel, The Great Pilgrim, which, just to give everybody a quick description, think of it as a crossover between The Lord of the Rings meets The Exorcist. So if those are things that interest you and you're into that sort of like sword and sorcery meets heaven versus hell kind of type stuff, The Exorcist, something like that. Check out Memoirs of an Angel, The Great Pilgrim by Brian Rodman. BrianRodman.com. We'll take the liberty of posting the link in the comments here so everybody can get a chance to look it up and check out his Kickstarter, because the Kickstarter is going right now, even as we speak. Speaking of Kickstarters, let's talk about this for a second. So I see a banner behind you, Immortal Era. What exactly is Immortal Era for someone who may not be familiar with this property?
All right, so if you're unfamiliar with the property, it's a post-apocalyptic story that's set 200 years in the future in a world where everyone has gained immortality. So they've gained immortality, but they didn't get any kind of powers or abilities. So in this world, you'll still age, you still get sick, you can lose a head, you can lose a limb, nothing's going to magically grow back. You're just going to live your life as a decapitated head. So it centers on a group of heroes. That's who we see kind of on the banner behind me. They live in an underground system that's an old abandoned subway where all of the non-citizens of this world are forced to go. And they're out looking for relics from the past that would explain exactly how people gained immortality in the first place, because they have a goal. They want to restore the natural life cycle and save all of humanity by killing them. And right now we're at issue 11. So they've succeeded in retrieving one of the relics they need, but they found that there are opposing forces that want to keep immortality exactly as it is, because they found a way to thrive in this immortality. And now they're having to battle this coven of witches who are trying to keep the status quo. And they also discovered that this coven of witches, they control the government. And through these first few issues, we found that there is one way that you can bring death back, but it's not going to be an easy road for them.
In the words of Spock, fascinating. It's fascinating. Now, what kind of witches are these? Are these like the ones from Vampire Diaries? Are they the ones from like Hocus Pocus with the Sanderson sisters? Or is this more like Practical Magic with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock? Or what are we looking at here? How devious are these witches? Are they sociopaths? Are they kind of like, we're kind of evil, but we're kind of good, so they're like anti-heroes kind of thing? I'm just curious.
No, they are full evil. They're terrible, and they will turn on their own, all of them vying for the most power. Because in this world, I was saying, they still age, they still get sick, but these particular witches have found a way to freeze their age and to gain power every single day. So they're very powerful. In this world, you discover that they control the entire government. So they're pulling all of the strings in this world to make sure that things stay the way that they are. They're controlling the media. They're making sure that the only thing the news reports is the blessing of immortality, not talking about, the countless people who got shot in the head, should be dead, but have to continue living through it. So these witches, definitely the nefarious types of witches, they're trying to do what they can to keep this world as it is.
Gotcha. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Old Guard, that comic book series. I don't know if you're familiar with the Old Guard, about immortal fighters or mercenaries played by, and they got the 2 movies out right now on Netflix with Charlize Theron. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but kind of gives off a little bit of Old Guard vibes, which I like. I do like the Old Guard comic. I like the comic, and this one sounds fascinating too. Don't get me wrong. Immortal Era. I mean, Granted, who wouldn't want to be immortal? But at the same time, if I get my leg chopped off and I can't grow it back because I'm immortal, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a Debbie Downer, is it? So being immortal isn't all it's cracked up to be now, is it?
Not in this world. And the whole inspiration for the story came from Gulliver's Travels.
Oh.
So in Gulliver's Travels, there's multiple stories, but I was an English lit major in college, and we read one particular one where he goes to an island, finds that everyone on this island is immortal, and initially thinks, oh, this is amazing. I want to live forever too. But then he sees that this isn't, Lost Boys. They're not these ageless vampires. He discovers the people on this island that are hundreds of years old. They can barely move. They can barely think. They're haggardly and miserable. And then in the book, he leaves. But that whole reading that in one of my English lit classes just kind of hatched this idea. I thought, all right, this is a terrible existence. How could they fix it? Because in Gulliver's Travels, he's like, I'm not going to fix it. I'm just getting out of here. So how can you fix it? And that kind of became the full premise of what my story was based on.
Okay, I dig it. Lost Boys. That's one of the better vampire movies that's ever been made.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Kiefer Sutherland, the soundtrack, Jamie Gertz. Oh my lord! I'm telling you, the 80s and 90s had the most beautiful. I mean, not that the other decades didn't, because they did. Each decade has its own set of very talented actresses and beautiful ones too. But the 80s and 90s, brother, there were tons of them coming out of the woodwork. I mean, you had Jamie Gertz on one side of the fence. You had Leah Thompson, Elizabeth Shue. Okay. Yeah. You had Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Mary Stuart Masterson. You had Catherine Mary Stewart from The Last Starfighter. Mm-hmm. When she turns to the camera and says, "I love you, Alex Rogan," I was like, oh, can I be her boyfriend, please?
Yeah, I'll be Alex Rogan, please.
Oh, can that happen? See what I did there? But yeah, I mean, you also, I mean, boy, man, Leah Thompson was like in everything.
Yeah.
She was in everything in the 80s. I mean, there were a lot of 80s. There was that group, right? There was known as the Brat Pack, but there were definitely some actresses who were in a lot of stuff. Demi Moore, I didn't know was one of the originators of like a adjacent member of the Brat Pack. So Demi Moore was thrown in there because she was in what was it called? St. Elmo's Fire, right?
Yes.
St. Elmo's Fire. She was in what was another one? Do we remember? I know Leah Thompson was in Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know her first movie was Jaws 3? Jaws 3D? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I saw that movie in the theater, but I don't remember anything about it.
She's in it. She plays the love interest for one of the supporting characters. It's true.
Okay. Yeah. I just remember the arm in 3D that was floating in the water, and that's the only thing I can recall about Jaws 3D. Because when 3D got oversaturated and ruined, but when we were younger, seeing a 3D movie was an actual exciting thing. You would go out there because there weren't that many. There was Friday the 13th 3D, Jaws 3D, and a sprinkling of other ones. But I remember when one would come out, it was must see. And I remember both of them. I remember if you watch Friday the 13th 3D, you can see they're kind of poking the spear at you. They're doing all the horror movie cliches and the 3D cliches. But when I was a kid, that was the greatest thing.
Nah. A good friend of ours, the Swedish chef from the Muppets Take Manhattan, he says, "Oh, your popcorn is 3D." It's like, oh, and then he said, and then Scooter says, "Chef, that's not how 3D works." Oh, never mind. And then he cuts a series of holes in these popcorn cups, and then he pretends that they're 3D glasses. The Swedish chef, from the Muppets Take Manhattan, and he says, I'm sorry. Did you ever? You a Muppets fan? You like Muppets? Yeah. What's your favorite Muppet movie?
I think I have to go with the Christmas one.
Yeah, Muppet Christmas Carol, man. Yeah, hell yeah. We watch that every holiday season.
Oh yeah, it's a must-see holiday movie now.
Tradition, yeah. And I take it you also watch the 80s classic Christmas Vacation?
Oh, of course.
I mean, Hey, Griswold, where'd you get a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
But have you seen the sequel is the question.
Oh, the Cousin Eddie's Christmas in Hawaii, whatever the hell it was. Mm-hmm. No, I haven't seen it. Is it any good? I heard it was trash.
Oh, don't watch it.
I heard it was trash.
It's pure pain. It happened to be I was at the library and they had it, and I thought, you know what? It's free. I'm gonna give it a chance. And I'd say it was about 20 minutes into the movie, the rest of the family left. They're like, you know what? We got better things to do than waste 90 minutes of our life on this pile of dog shit. So
Yeah.
My wife stuck it out. We
She
managed to finish that thing together, but man, it is
a
a
struggle.
rough watch.
It was a struggle.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So in other words, you rather watch The Great Outdoors with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd compared to Christmas Vacation 2.
There's a long list of movies I'd rather watch before watching Christmas Vacation.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it.
The Great Outdoors, that's. I mean, it's pretty much. It's gonna take a really bad movie that I would have to say would be worse than that, because that's down near the bottom of all the movies I've ever seen.
All right. Well, in other words, let's just watch the John Hughes classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, shall we?
There you go. That's your Thanksgiving movie.
That's a Thanksgiving. Yeah, you're right. That's a Thanksgiving movie. Yeah, those aren't pillows. See what I did there? Those aren't pillows. Pop says Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies of all time. Hey, no, that is no problem, because that is my favorite John Hughes movie ever. That's my favorite John Hughes movie. Is that your favorite? Is that your favorite? Which one is yours, Ed?
Me? Weird Science.
Weird Science. You know, I still have never seen that all the way through.
It was because I didn't see Breakfast Club until I was in my 20s, and I saw Weird Science right when it came out. So it was one of those ones where I didn't see Breakfast Club in its initial run. So I don't have the same connections to it because I saw most of the John Hughes stuff, honestly, I saw after the fact. I didn't see them in the 80s. I didn't see, what is it?
Pretty in Pink.
Candles, Pretty in Pink. I didn't see those when they were on their initial run. My wife loved them, so I watched them with her for the first time. So these were all when I was in college and later. So yeah, the connection, the only John Hughes movie I saw in real time was Weird Science. So it's got the nostalgia glasses connected with it, where the other ones don't.
Well, Kelly LeBrock is no slouch either when it comes to the beautiful women's department.
Oh yeah.
Just throwing it out there. Pops mentioned something called Continental Divide. Is that a movie? I'm not sure. Not sure what you mean by that, Pop. Sorry. Continental Divide. What is that? Is that an album or a song? I don't know. What the heck do I know? But anyway, Weird Science. I've never seen it all the way through. I've seen the TV series actually of Weird Science on USA Network, but I've never seen the original movie.
Yeah.
You know, I got to go back and watch that.
I enjoy it, but it's definitely nostalgia glasses viewing, where I saw it when it came out. I was in the theater.
I get it.
And I loved it for that. I raised money to see it by selling lemonade. So it's got connected stories. It's not just a movie. It becomes an experience. And that's when you look at it differently. So it's hard for me to judge it with, completely clear vision, because I remember it for all the other factors involved.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I can understand that. And once again, just to give a friendly neighborhood reminder, we are here on Freewheeling Fridays with the guest of honor and apparently the 80s expert, Ed Davis, because he knows a thing or two, because he's seen a thing or two. Don't forget to like and share this. If you're watching us live on the replay, thank you for doing that. And once again, any questions, let us know in the chat. Or if you just want to talk about 80s stuff, because I love the 80s. I think the 80s had the best music, the best movies, the best. The fashion was cool. I mean, you had cassette tapes, you had Walkmans, you had watches, you had swatches. Remember those? Oh, yeah. You had what was another thing? You had the boom box.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You had you had people carrying around. Which, by the way, one of our goals as a community at Anti-Quote Channel and outside of Anti-Quote Channel, if anyone at the Madness Entertainment Group wants to dive in on this, feel free. We want to dress up wearing the purple Joker jackets and fedoras and a pair of shades, and we want to walk into Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to have someone, and I want to have the Joker or whoever's going to cosplay as it, because it's not going to be me. I want someone to cosplay as the Joker and say, "Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds, Lawrence." And then we just play Party Man on the boombox as we're walking through the halls of Dragon Con, and everyone around us is going to admire us for the fact that we're dressed up nice. We have the boombox, we have the song, we got the vibe, man. So we want that to happen at Dragon Con at some point.
You need a Bob the Goon, though. You got to have that.
Bob, gun. No, I'm just kidding. And then he blows him away. It's like, I'm going to need a moment or two alone, boys. By the way, when he's looking at the pictures that Bob takes from earlier, you know what I mean? Because he's getting pictures of Knox and Vicky and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Stop the press. Who is that? It's Vicky Vale. She's the photographer who's working with Knox. That girl has style. Jesus Marimba. Lovely beast like that roaming around, Ed Davis, could put steam in a man's strides. She's dating some guy named Wayne, which he's about to trade up. Hard to say inside the lines. Oh God, I love that movie so much. I love it. I love it. You know, a friend of mine and myself, we reenacted the scene where he hits the "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts" sequence, and we had so much fun filming that. But I just could not stop laughing when he pulled out the dustbuster as his gun. Yeah, we had to use props because we were shooting in his basement at the time.
Yeah.
So he had this like powder and makeup to make himself look like the Joker, and obviously I just had to wear a suit. That was easy because I'm playing Bruce Wayne in the equation. All I had to do was lose my glasses because he doesn't wear glasses in the sequence. And we just did the scene. We had so much fun with it, but I had trouble keeping my composure because I was just laughing.
Yeah.
That's because you can't help it. You just can't. You just can't. So that was fun. It is on YouTube, by the way. It's not like one of those VHS tapes that we buried, in a time capsule, Ed, and we never wanted to see it again. It's on social media. It's out there. It's out there. I'll send you a link. I'll do you a favor since you and I are massive Batman fans. Oh, yeah. We can play off of this a little bit here. But as far as the Immortal Era goes, you have your Kickstarter going right now, which congratulations. Yes. It's fantastic. What is, if you don't mind, and if you're open to it, what is the plan for Immortal Era and Finish Line Comics moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years?
So one of the main things is just finishing the Immortal Era story. It's going to be 24 issues, but I'm not Marvel. I'm not DC. I can't give you an issue a month. So the best case scenario will be 3 new issues a year, and it will turn out to be 4 collected trades. And then I have some other stories that I'm working on as well. One of those stories is a one-shot horror story that'll be coming out in October called Floaters. And that story documents some real facts when I was dealing with, I developed floaters in my eyes, and they had basically taken over 40% of my vision. I spent 17 hours one day in hospital waiting rooms. And I thought, what am I going to do when I'm stuck in a waiting room? Write a crazy story. And this story kind of came out of that. And we see that floaters are actually parasites that corrupt people's minds, make them homicidal maniacs. And that's the story that hatched out of that. So that one will be coming in October. I have a second series, Corruptor, that I also work on. The new issues, the next new issue of that will be coming out next year. And then I have Dracula Sherlock Holmes, a crossover story. That's going to be a 4-issue miniseries that'll be coming out next year as well. So what I'm hoping is to continue the 3 issues of Immortal Era a year, but also get some new titles in the mix as well.
Well, you had me at Dracula meets Sherlock Holmes. That's a unique take. Oh boy, does this mean Sherlock Holmes is going to connect Dracula to Jack the Ripper?
He does. Jack the Ripper is thrown in there, but it's more just like a little funny Easter egg when he's hunting. But right. When I wrote this Dracula Sherlock Holmes story, I wrote it from the point of view of, I hate the ending of the Dracula novel. He's taken out off screen, basically. He's in the carriage. The gypsies are trying to get him back to the castle, but Jonathan Harker and Van Helsing and his crew are able to take him out before he's able to get out of his coffin before night falls. So Dracula dies quickly. So I rewrote the story where in the end, instead of him getting killed in the carriage, the gypsies are able to fight them off, get Dracula back to his castle. And the only one left surviving is Jonathan Harker, who knocks on Sherlock Holmes' door and says, I need you to save Mina Harker. She's trapped by a monster, and he spills his story to Dracula.
Ooh, that sounds cool, man. I dig it. I totally dig it. That's an interesting story. I'm gonna have to read that at some point for sure. Pop says Karen Hunter.
Oh, yes. No, Karen Hunter's, he's not lying. I'm writing a story called Karen Hunters.
Oh.
Because I was on Lori's Karen show, and she told me something you never tell someone like me. Oh, just use your imagination and think of some fun stuff. So what fun stuff did I think of? I wrote an entire mythology and lore about Karens. So I wrote how Karens are birthed, how you can kill a Karen, and how there's a whole group of people that don't get affected by Karens. Because in this world that I created, Karens are created by saliva. So if a Karen gets their saliva on you, it goes into your bloodstream, shrinks your heart into an egg where a Karen will hatch out and take over your body. But anyone who is immune to the saliva gets grabbed by this group of hunters, and their goal is to take out every single Karen. And in the story, Lori is Karen Prime, and our hunters are about to have to go have a major showdown with her, but there's only 4 hunters left after their last encounter trying to rid Beverly Hills of all the Karens.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. See, the things we come up with on or off the air when we have these shows during the regular week, you know what I mean? Because the Madness and you guys, Pops, you guys put out like 30, 40 shows a week. I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, obviously they're hosted and produced by different people. It's not like the same, but it's like 50 flavors a week, man. Pops, more power to you guys, because hey, I'm happy to contribute in any way I can. I can't always do it because I work a full-time job. Most of us do, I'm assuming, but I work a full-time job where I work in the middle of the night. But pretty soon I'm going to be switching over to the day side, which is going to be even better for my mental and physical health, Ed. Let me be perfectly honest with you, because I've wanted a 9-to-5 job for the longest time, and now I'm finally getting it. So, and I get my weekends off still. So,
even better.
So I can still do my shows, and yes, Pops, don't worry, I can still do Freewheeling Fridays on Friday nights at 11 o'clock Eastern, even though it's a little bit past my bedtime, but it's all right. I can make an exception because it's once a week. It's not like I'm doing it every day. All right.
Yeah.
Otherwise that's way too much redlining, brother. Madness says Ed does 2 shows on the network as well. Hey, more power to you. Yeah, we share the same studio lot here with the Freewheeling Friday and the Finish Line lot. Just out of curiosity though, because I'm not here all the time. What are the 2 shows you have going on?
I do. One of them is called First Impressions. It's a music show that I do where I have a co-host. We play an album that we've never heard before, and we take notes and evaluate the album. We talk about what we liked, what songs were good, what lyrics were good, what songs were terrible. And if we hate the album altogether, then I don't hold back. I'm not going to pretend I like something if I don't. So yeah, we've done 36 episodes on that. We've had 4 bands involved with the show as well. We've had 2 come on live, 2 record interviews for us. So I'm constantly reaching out to bands to try to get them on. Pops has one he's working on, but we're actually finishing up this sequence of albums, and then we're gonna get our new one. But we do that weekly, and then my other one is Saturday Morning Comic Talk, where I pull on indie comic creators and I think of 4 kind of off the wall topics, mostly not comic related, and try to get some wild conversations going.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That second show, the comic book one, when is that on normally?
It's Saturdays at 9:30 my time, so I guess 12:30 Eastern time. And
darn it, it's during and I quote, because otherwise I would have said I volunteer as tribute to be your next guest, but unfortunately I cannot do that at this time. But
yeah, we can find a week that maybe you take a week off.
I take a week off, yeah.
Yeah, because it's always different topics. I write new topics every week. Now, that's not to say I'm not repeating topics, because if I have new guests, it's a new topic to them. And we just kind of like to see where we can make things go. And last week, I had Lori, I had Sarah White, and I had Fish Lee. And we were going on for 2.5 hours. We went into some wild tangents. And Pops is like, all right, dude, studio's got to be for the next person. So we ended it in time, barely. But yeah, I know now 2.5 hours is the limit. But we normally close out at about 1 hour and 15 minutes. But it's fun. The people that come on say they have a good time. And my inception of that show came from the fact that a lot of the shows you go on as a comic creator, you answer the same exact questions. Every time you're going to answer, okay, what's your inspiration? Tell me about this, that, and the other thing. And I thought, all right, these creators, I know they've all answered those questions because I've answered some of them on their shows and I've seen them answering it on others. So I'm going to ask them random things like, okay, what object from the past do you want to bring back so you can enjoy it again? What's the thing that would horrify today's youth to know that we did as children, and stuff like that? And you get stories, because I give them the questions in advance, but I have no idea what they're going to answer. So it can take me as off guard as it takes them. And it just goes in some fun and wild directions and keeps them, on their feet. And then at the end, we talk about campaigns, because of course, if you're going to do a show like that and you're promoting something, you want to be able to talk about your campaign. So the last half hour is dedicated to just get back on here, tell us about the standard creation questions. But we started off with some fun wild cards.
Oh, wow. All right. I got you. Wild cards. There's an expression for you. Yeah. No, I get that. Wow, that's cool. Because I know Pops has been pitching me for years to get me on the Killer Karen or the Karen show thingamabob.
Yeah.
So, but I forget what day and time that they do it normally. I know it's pre-recorded, I believe. So
Yeah, that one's pre-recorded, so they
Okay,
can kind
Pop,
of work around your schedule.
I was gonna say,
I know-
Pops. Now that I'm switching to dayside, Pops, you and I can have a bit more of a discussion about that because maybe I can work it into nights if you guys got to record or something like that. So
Yeah, they got me. I think it was about
do it.
6 o'clock my time. They got me
Yeah.
in, but flexibility. I know it's on hiatus right now, but I told her
That's
you got to
fine.
bring it out of hiatus because she was running a Kickstarter and
Mhm.
busy as hell, just like all of
She
us
is.
are. So she has her Tuesday morning brew and all that.
Which is
But
great.
I said when Karen Hunters comes out, you have to take it out of hiatus, and I'm going to send her one of the copies that comes a bit damaged because anytime you order, 500 to 1,000 books, there's always going to be a handful that get damaged, and the printer will replace them. But I'm going to keep one and send it to Lori and see what crazy things she comes up with to do to that poor book, knowing that it's shitting on her Karens and that I figured out finally that they're all demons.
Wow. Okay, this is getting deep. The horror. I'm just throwing it out there. But no, I get it. And then Pops goes on a little bit. He says Killer Karen's more based on Lori's availability, not so much the guests. But hey, I get it, man. But like I said, if you need me, I'm working on dayside. I got my nights free, and of course, we can always do it on a weekend when she's not at a Comic-Con or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what everybody's doing. Keep me in the loop, Pops. You need me to do something and be the Jeff Goldblum of that Karen episode. Let me know. When she is running a campaign, I do not expect her to do that too. Yeah. Because Lori's just. Well, when Lori and Carissa got campaigns on, they are like full steam ahead and they don't stop. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other indie creators are like that too. Don't get me wrong, but Carissa and Lori are just the first people that come to my mind.
Yeah,
because they're everywhere.
and Carissa's always running a campaign. So.
Oh my gosh.
That woman does not rest. She's got
no.
I thought I'm releasing a lot of books, and she's lapped me and then some. And she'll have another one out in October. So I mean, she is moving at such a pace that I couldn't keep up. My wallet couldn't keep up.
No.
But it's amazing. Like she could teach some of these Marvel titles a few lessons on how to release shit in a timely manner.
You think? Yeah. Yeah. She could definitely do it. There's no doubt about it. So what is it? Pops goes on to say, what is it? She is a busy lady. There's no doubt. That's so much for so many other people too. Yeah. A lot of people are supportive of each other on this channel, which I do greatly respect, Pops. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I greatly respect you and everybody else who supports, other people's projects that are far out there. Mine. It's funny because we did a show earlier tonight. We celebrated 20 years of Wes Craven's film Red Eye with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. I don't know if you've ever seen it before.
Ed.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Red Eye at all or no?
I've seen it once, so I'm not greatly familiar with it. It was a late night movie, basically.
It's okay. But we were celebrating the 20-year anniversary. We were doing our social media plugs at the end of the night. He says, hey, put me on screen real quick. Put me on screen. And he had a copy of the Western Tales Volume 1 anthology that I got published in. So he says, hey, I got a copy for you. I got a copy for myself, brother. So I just wanted to show my support. So
nice.
Thank you, Austin of the Movie Hero Network on YouTube. So check them out. They do a lot of great stuff over there. Talking all kinds of movies. They have tournament fights. They have movie trivia competitions. They have Spin of the Wheel, where they spin the wheel and then they discuss the movie the following week or month, whatever it is. So it's like the Wheel of Movies, Cool. So it's like, like Wheel of Fortune, because I grew up watching Wheel of Fortune, brother.
Oh yeah.
And Jeopardy, but I was more of a fan of Wheel of Fortune than Jeopardy, because Jeopardy is the questions, I don't even get what they're saying.
Too cerebral.
Well, it's too much for me, bro. It just is. But here's one for you. What has been your experience like at conventions, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee? Have there been any special memories for you that stand out?
I mean, there's always memories that come out, but I think one of them, I was an exhibitor at San Diego Comic-Con, and there was this group of cosplayers. They were dressed as Powerpuff Girls, and I pitched to anyone. If you get too close to my table, I will pitch you. And I pitched it to them, and they bought the book, and the next day they came running to my table. and they were so excited. They were talking about every single thing, and they were saying this was so exciting. We love this. We love this character. We love this plot line. And then the next year they came cosplaying as my character. So it's kind of that amazing moment to see someone's cosplaying your stuff.
Yes, that's awesome. That's one of the best compliments anyone can get, right? For their work, them cosplaying as a character or characters, because it depends on, how many people are involved in the story.
Yeah.
But dude, that's great. Congrats. San Diego has been on my bucket list for many years, so it'd be nice to get out there. I mean, I wouldn't lose sleep over if I didn't end up going, because we have the East Coast has their answer to that is New York Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, that's the one I want to get to out there.
That's our answer to you guys on the West Coast, respectively. But my friend's like, okay, you've been to some shows, but the two shows you have to go to, other than San Diego being a dream for somewhere down the line where we can really afford it, is New York Comic-Con and Rhode Island Comic-Con. Rhode Island is a great show because it's very celebrity heavy, whereas New York Comic-Con does have celebrities, but it's also creator heavy. Yeah. So to a certain extent, it's funny though, because it's the smallest state in the country, has one of the biggest Comic-Cons in the world. Hence the reason they call it RICC, Rhode Island Comic-Con. So, I mean, look at the guest list. The whole thing is stacked. They got reunions of, I mean, they may have a Mummy Cast reunion with Brendan Fraser and his team. Wow. They got Fonz, Happy Days reunion. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff going on. Nice. So feel free to check your listings for Rhode-IslandComicCon.com, I want to say. And then the other one is obviously NYCC, kind of goes without saying.
That one's a juggernaut. So
it's been in the Javits Center.
That one.
Yeah, it's been in the Javits Center over there in New York City, right, Ed, for many years now. So, But yeah, hopefully our goals are to go to and attend New York Comic-Con and Rhode Island Comic with my best friend. He's a good friend of mine, Jeff. Love you, brother. Because he's like a Comic-Con expert, because he's been to a lot of shows. He's been to so many. So we'll wait and see. You may see us on social media doing an Instagram live feed from Comic-Con, or maybe we'll do a vlog. Post it on social media, right? That's what people do. Documenting their experiences at conventions. People put up vlogs all the time, right, Ed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, right? Yeah, make it happen. Anything's possible, folks. All you gotta do is, in the words of my good friend Doc Brown, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Right? Isn't that right? Speaking of the 80s, what's your favorite line from Back to the Future? You have a favorite one?
Oh, man. See, now you put me on the spot, because you got to love where we're going. We don't need roads.
Ronald Reagan said that when he was president. Yeah, he used that during some of his speeches. You notice that? He did. Yeah. Ronald Reagan used Back to the Future in his speeches. Wow. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah. Any other lines?
I'm trying to think, because now I'm lost, because that's one of, I've seen him a million times, but I'm trying to think of the right quotes.
Well, yeah, I can go ahead and list one of mine.
All right, let's hear it.
So one of my favorites is tell me, future boy, who's president of the United States in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? Who's vice president? Jerry Lewis. I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady. Wait, Doc. And Jack Benny is Secretary of the Treasury. I've had enough jokes for one evening. Good night, future boy. I think that one is good. I think, the whole who's president of the United States, because in 55 he's acting with Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah, he's an A-lister.
Yeah,
at that point.
In the acting realm, and then 30 years later he becomes president of the United States, and then he says, "No wonder you're president's an actor. He's got to look good on television." Because he's looking at Marty's camera, because they didn't have video cameras in 1955, remember? Yep. So the JVC, which, by the way, good product placement for them, by the way. Yeah. The JVC red and black camera, if you remember correctly, it's the one that... And Doc is just oogled by it. He's like, this is truly amazing. A portable television studio. Which it is. It literally is. So, and it was brought to you by our good friends at JVC. Which, I remember going to a place called Circuit City. Oh, yeah. Does anybody remember Circuit City?
Do you remember Circuit City? I remember the Good Guys.
Yeah, what was the other one? Sam Goody, right?
Sam Goody, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Goody was a big fish for music, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was I think they were in the malls mostly.
They were in the malls, yeah. Yeah, do you remember Suncoast Video?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one. I got my James Bond collection from them in the beginning. Obviously, I updated it to DVD and Blu-rays later on when they became a thing. But VHS-wise, Ed, I would get the James Bond 007 collection every time. What is that? Federated Pops? I'm not sure what that means. What's Federated?
It's another store. I
Oh, it's another
remember
store?
that one. Yeah.
Oh, what did Federated sell? What was their market?
See, I don't remember. I think it was like a department store, but
Was it music?
don't quote me on that because I don't.
Yeah, Pops. What was
offhand.
Federated? Let me know what Federated was, or let us know rather. Sorry. Let's see. Circuit City. I used to play the demos of PlayStation and all the video game systems back
Oh yeah,
then.
they had the little screens all set up for that.
You had to tilt your head up like this. You remember that? Da, 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 da. Here's a question for you, if you don't mind. Favorite video game?
I'll have to go with the first Resident Evil. I love that game. That got me so hooked on video gaming as an adult, I should say, because that came out when I was in college. I mean, you can't go wrong with Super Mario Brothers. It's it's an all-time classic. So okay, it was electronics. I remember seeing commercials for Federated, but yeah, I bought the reboot of Resident Evil that they put out, the remaster, I should say, and still love it. But I think as a child, it would have to be Castlevania. I loved that first Castlevania game.
Oh,
still haven't beat it, but I loved it.
Oh, okay. Now I gotcha. No worries. Sorry, I was just trying to Google images here of Federated, and I'm looking at it here. Oh, wow. Okay. This is unique. Kind of reminds me of Circuit City a little bit. But anyway, hey, everybody's a copycat of somebody else. Or they took inspiration from other stores. I mean, look at Kmart. Blue Light Special, anybody? It's when the stuff was on sale. And then there was a Big Kmart. Anybody remember that?
Big K. Took it over now they're all dead.
Unfortunately. I remember one of the things I remember as a kid were the Tiger electronic handheld video games. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Did you play Double Dragon a lot?
I did.
Yeah. 50,000? You got 50,000 on Double Dragon? Sorry, that's a quote from the underrated movie and classic, I might add. The Wizard with Fred Savage. About video game competition. You ever see? Okay, so you need to look this shiznit up because my brothers, I have two older brothers, just to give everybody some quick context here, Ed. They took me to West Coast Video where we were staying at the beach at certain points of our lives. And we would rent this movie, and it was called The Wizard. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean, like The Wizard of Oz? They're like, no. This is called The Wizard, and it's about this kid who takes his little brother to California because his little brother is a wizard at video games. Okay. Hence the reason the movie's called The Wizard. And they had the video game championships in Los Angeles, and first prize is $50,000. Or no, it's not $50,000. It's $20,000. But $20,000 in 1989, like that's
$50,000 now.
That's sure. $50,000. Yeah. That's like $50,000-$60,000. You see what I'm saying? So if you've never seen it, if you've never heard of this, also by the way, the whole movie's a Nintendo commercial because it's all about playing video games in the arcades and Nintendo systems. They promote the Power Glove. The Power Glove was a piece of garbage, but no one knew that at the time. They thought it was the next big thing. But if you played with it a little more, you learn that the Power Glove isn't all it's cracked up to be. There were problems with that, if I remember correctly. So feel free to look up the history of that. There's a very fascinating documentary about the Power Glove. But yeah, check out The Wizard there, Ed. I believe it's streaming on Amazon, I want to say.
Okay.
Amazon Prime, I believe, has it available for streaming purposes. It was released by Universal, so it might be on Peacock. But I think it's Amazon Prime is the primary place to find. I have it on physical media. I have it on DVD and Blu-ray, respectively. Okay. Because Shout Factory, which re-releases a lot of classic movies and TV series.
They do great stuff.
They re-released The Wizard with an Ultimate Edition Blu-ray DVD or 2-disc Blu-ray set. And I got to tell you, Ed, it is fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I have a lot of their stuff. I have the Return of the Living Dead they did, The Thing. I always get the steel books if they have them.
Steelbooks are very popular amongst collectors like ourselves. That's a good point. Steelbooks very, very good to me. Physical media very, very good to me. Oh, yeah. Hence the reason I have this 70-quart, what do you call it? A storage tote, right? 70-quart storage tote, and it's filled with all my TBR, to be read books, more specifically books. It's pretty bad. My TBR list is pretty bad. Yeah, it's bad.
It'll always keep growing.
Yeah, especially now that I'm a published writer and I'm trying to hone my craft and because one of the best pieces of advice any writer gets is read. So if you're a comic book creator, read as many comics as you can. If you're a writer in general, read as many books as you can. Hence the reason I got a storage tote right over here on the other side of my studio that's filled with paperbacks and a few hardcovers. I'll be honest. I have a few hardcovers. Just throwing that out there. Speaking of books, favorite Star Wars novel. Do you have a favorite Star Wars novel or comic book?
I mean, I loved the Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, Timothy Zahn. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one that I read of the novelizations, and that I know from what I've heard they added pieces of it to one of the Star Wars streaming ones, but I haven't really been watching. But I love that one, but it has been years since I read it. But I know that was a trilogy, and I read that one, and then the there was the Dark Horse series where Luke turned evil. I forget the name. I think it's Dark Empire, and that one's great as well.
Yeah, I gotcha. I have the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and I have one of the books signed by Timothy Zahn because I met him at a convention. I met him, and I said, "Hey, just want to say congratulations on all your work. You've done great stuff for the Star Wars community. You've done it for many, many years," because he has. And I said, "Timothy, what's your advice that you would give to aspiring writers? Because I'm starting to write myself, and I want to know. I'm just curious what advice would you give?" He says, "Write as much as you can, but keep at it. Keep at it. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep at it. Keep writing. Keep pushing." So, and I was like, you know what? That's something a Jedi Knight would say to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Timothy Zahn's like an honorary member of the 501st and some of the other Star Wars cosplay organizations, if I'm not mistaken. So,
cool.
He has the badges that he wears at every convention. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
no, that's
true.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I've also met I had him on the show, John Jackson Miller. He wrote a book. He wrote a book called Batman. I think it's Batman Is it Resurrection? I want to say, or one of the two, Revelation or Resurrection, and it's a direct sequel to the original 1989 movie.
Oh yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, so it takes place before the events of Batman Returns, but it takes place right after the events of Batman '89.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to
have it. It's on my to-read list as well. Sitting in the stack.
Yeah, because I have a copy signed by him that my friend picked up for me when he was at New York Comic Con. Because, like I said, he goes every year.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey Jeff, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a copy of, JJM, John Jackson Miller's Batman book and the free poster and get it signed for me? He's like, yeah, I can do that. It's like, thank you, and he did. And he's got another book, which is a sequel to that book, coming out later this year, and that's going to be presented, and he's going to have copies available at this year's New York Comic Con.
Nice.
I'm like, Jeff, I need you to do me a favor again. I need you to go to John Jackson's booth and get me a copy of the new book.
Cool.
So he'll do that for me. He does me solid favors every now and again.
Yeah.
Nerds helping nerds, folks. It's good for the community. Geekman Master of the Thunder Nerd says, "Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Thunder Nerds?" I believe it's Dustin, if I'm not mistaken, who was running that account. Dustin, good to see you. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods. He says the Thrawn series, the X-Wing series, and the New Jedi Order are his favorite of the Star Wars novels.
Cool.
Good one. That's a good one. Star by Star, I want to say, is probably my favorite Star Wars book. Is that what it's called? Star by Star?
I haven't read that one.
Not familiar with that. And then he's giving us the "What's up?" rock on symbol there. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Dustin was on with us a week ago for our spoiler-heavy review of Superman 2025.
Very cool.
Yeah. That was a heck of a review. By the way, that was the longest video we've done in quite some time. We had 6 people on set, Ed Davis, and the show was 3 hours and 12 minutes long.
Oh, damn. Wow.
That was a long-ass night, brother.
It would be.
But it was a fun one. That was a fun one. And he also goes on to say Wraith Squadron is what Pops is saying is his favorite.
Okay.
Wraith Squadron.
I haven't read that one either. I didn't read a lot of the novels, so I have catching up to do.
I have the Thrawn trilogy I got to catch up on. One of the modern-day Thrawn novels. I have Princess Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. Signed by her, by the way.
Cool.
So I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff coming out. Yeah, just, looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Star Wars because they've had a lot of creative difficulties over the years with their streaming series and not having a movie out for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. We got to fix that. Hopefully they can fix it with some new writers, some new storytellers, and just give us new characters. All right.
Yeah.
We don't need the same 3 or 4 characters that you've been marketing so heavily in the last 2 to 3 years. I love Mandalorian, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Mandalorian and Grogu film that's coming out next year from, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. But give us something different.
Yeah.
And by the way, whether it's canon or not, because I know Disney says, oh, well, the books that came out from 2015 on are canon, and the stuff that came out before doesn't count because it's called Star Wars Legends. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All right. Borrow elements from those books or adapt them for all I care. because the fans are clamoring for a Heir to the Empire series.
Yeah.
The fans are clamoring for a Knights of the Old Republic series. Just give us that shit.
Yeah. We'll go.
It's
We'll
not
go to the
that
theaters.
hard. It's not that hard, guys. Well, maybe not so much the theaters, because a lot of these things could be
Or
put
we'll
together
watch it streaming. Yeah,
that's what
I
I'm
guess it'd
saying.
be
Like,
better as a series.
Yeah, they're better as a streaming series, but I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna make something, just adapt it from the books.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, Pops. I know Thrawn is from Legends, and he's currently in the Ahsoka series. He's been in Star Wars Rebels, and I get that, but that's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, bring in Darth Raven or some of the Sith Lords we've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? Just give us something different, Lucasfilm.
Yeah, different would be good.
Because I love
Welcome
Star
change.
Wars. Because Ed and I love Star Wars, but I think Ed and I can both admit it's been a struggle.
It has not been generating much good lately.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to say, but the whole debacle that was The Acolyte, that didn't do it any favors.
I didn't watch it because I heard so many bad things.
Yeah,
and
it
I thought,
didn't.
I just don't want to give it my time.
Didn't do it any favors. I'm sorry to say, Ed, but they still had to leave Mara Jade out because bad writing. Well, if you get some new writers in there and you bring in Mara Jade, I think it could work.
Yeah.
I mean, heck,
fresh blood. That's what
fresh
they need.
blood. Yeah, fresh blood. Give me some other character. And here's another thing for you. And this may sound like sacrilege, but what if Mara Jade wasn't the daughter of? Because I think she's the daughter of Han and Leia, isn't she? Or Luke and his wife, I think it was. Either way, you don't have to make it be the child of one of the Skywalkers. You can just have Mara Jade be her own character, with no relation to the legacy ones. You know what I mean? Oh, they can't. She married Luke. Well, okay. How about this? Because Luke's been a Mandalorian, right? So have Mara Jade with Deep Valley Luke.
Yeah.
You know, in a season of The Mandalorian, have them pop up in The Mandalorian, or have Luke be off training or do whatever. Just have Luke offset and have Mara Jade be in the scene.
Yeah.
You don't have to have both.
You can say his name and we know he's there.
You can say Mara Jade. Well, who's your husband? Oh, his name's Luke. And that's it. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say anything else.
Now just write a good story with her.
Yeah, I mean, Ed, you and I we can write a good story.
Yeah.
We can do it. Ed can do
that.
it.
Disney, we're open.
We can. I mean, we can do it. But then Pops goes on to say, well, Ben Skywalker was their son, not Ben Solo. They screwed it all up due to the sequel trilogy, and they did it so bad. Well, there are issues. And then the Solos had 3 kids, not just 1. Wow. Okay. All right. So Leia and Han got their freak on a little bit. All right. Well, like I said, you can have these characters, but you don't necessarily have to connect them to Han and Leia. You can just say, oh, my parents fought during the not the Clone Wars, but the Galactic Republic, or the Civil War between the Empire and Rebellion.
Yep.
Or they fought during the Rebellion. That's it.
Yeah, that works.
Just say it. Just say it. Don't.
My parents were rebels. Boom, done.
That's it. That's very simple. Very simple. The twins and Anakin. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. Was it the Young Jedi series was based on the twins? Okay. Are you referring to the Young Jedi series of books, or are you referring to the Young Jedi series that was an animated series on Disney Plus? I'm just trying to clarify here, folks. I'm sorry, but if you want to let me know that, throw it in the chat. When they canceled the EU, they ruined it all. Well, to a certain extent, they did, but that doesn't mean they can't go back on their word and say, you know what? We made a mistake. The fans really want to see EU characters in Star Wars live action, so let's just do it.
Yeah, they can fix it. It doesn't take that much.
It really doesn't.
Pay a few authors some money and get them to adapt their stuff, or just pay them for the rights to the stories and go from there.
Yeah, that's another thing that they could do. That's a valid point. See, Ed Davis is the smartest guy in the world. See, this is why we pay Ed the big bucks, okay?
Yes.
See what I did there? Because honest to God, Ed Davis, for this entire episode of Freewheeling Friday, you are so money you don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. You know? I'm giving you props here. I don't know if you've ever... By the way, that was a reference to a 96 movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's really funny. No, you didn't catch the reference? It's okay. It's a really good movie, though. Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau are in it. It was one of their first movies.
That's Swingers, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
I knew it.
Baby.
I just had to think for a second. It's like, I've seen the movie, but it's not one I've seen repeatedly. So, yeah.
Oh, I've seen it repeatedly because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. Cool. Here's a bonus question for you, if you're willing, and if you can remember this off the top of your... If you can, it's no pressure, though. I'm not going to put any unnecessary pressure on our guest. Top 10 favorite movies.
Damn. See,
top
now
10.
You're putting a lot. All right, so we got to go New Hope and Empire. There's two right there.
Mm-hmm.
We got Batman 89. We got Ghostbusters. We got Evil Dead 2.
Mm.
We've got American Werewolf in London. Oh, man, let me think here. Because I'm trying to get a variety of genres here that are amazing. So let's see. Spirited Away.
Mm.
See, now it's hard. So I'm trying to think where I'm missing stuff from. Pulp Fiction.
That's a good one. I like that one.
So yeah, we got to go with some Quentin in there.
Yeah. You don't tip? No, I don't believe in it. It's great. I love that scene.
That's Reservoir Dogs.
Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not that one. What I meant to say was the breakfast.
Oh
scene.
yeah,
Big
that's
Kahuna-
right.
Brett, Big Kahuna Burger. Yeah.
That's
that
right.
whole-
Yeah, he doesn't tip. Quentin's really against tipping. His two first movies, he had to shit on tippers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, yeah, doesn't tip.
Yeah, so thinking, all right, that's Reservoir Dogs. But yeah, Jules doesn't tip either.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you
So
go.
that's
So
how many is that? That's 8,
We're
I
at
think.
8. Okay,
8.
so let's see.
Pulp Fiction is 8.
So let's see.
Pulp
We'll
Fiction.
go.
Pulp Fiction is my favorite Tarantino movie too.
Yeah, that's my favorite Tarantino movie. One of my favorites of all time. I'll
Yeah.
go with Lord of the Rings. We'll go with Fellowship of the Ring.
That's my favorite too of the franchise. Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
I love them all, but Fellowship is the one. I think I saw it in the theater 10 times.
10 times
Yeah.
for a 3-hour movie? You're insane.
Yeah. It's a lot of time on my hands.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're insane. But I love it. I love the dedication to your movies. So.
And then let's think. I got to think of one more.
Door number 10.
Door number 10. Damn.
What's it going to be? This is the final movie in the top 10 list.
All right. I'm going to go with Airplane. I loved it as a kid. And
Surely,
it's fun.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Exactly. That movie just turned 45 this year.
Dang. Yeah. So there. And you see, that top 10 could easily adjust at any time. But those are 10 that I remember watching many times.
I love it. What do they call Big Mac in France? Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. So what do they call? Or no. It was a Whopper with double or something like that. And then he says, well, "What do they call it?" They don't have a name for it. They just call it Le Big Mac.
Yeah, Le Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly. Check out the Big Brand on Brad. You want a smart motherfucker? That's right. We are business associates of your business partner, Marcellus Wallace. You do remember your business partner, Marcellus Wallace, right? Now, let me take a wild guess here. Now, you, flock of seagulls. Well, it's just like, dude, the whole Ezekiel 25:17 scene, Ed,
that's
dude.
Some of the best dialogue written ever in that opening sequence.
And the crazy thing about that scene, that specific one there, Ed, is that Phil Lamar, a very young, almost unrecognizable Phil Lamar, is the kid standing in the corner by the front door. He's the one who answers the door, and it gets his head blown off in the car.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Marvin,
yeah. And not only that guy, Phil Lamar, has been the voice actor on, many different shows, Futurama, and he was the voice of Jon Stewart's Green Lantern on Justice League and Justice League
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
That's Phil Lamar. And he says, Marvin, you got to have an opinion. Then he gets his head blown. Oh, man, shit, I shot Marvin in the face. What the fuck you do that for? I don't know, man. You almost hit a bump or something. I didn't hear no bump, man. And you got the brain matter all over. Now, and then Mr. Wolf comes over, Harvey Keitel. There's another stable for you, right, Ed?
Oh, yeah.
You got a corpse in a car. Mine is a head in the garage. Take me to it. Jimmy, yeah? I'm going to need some coffee. Oh, sure. How do you take it? Lots of cream, lots of sugar. Dude, so good.
Oh, yeah.
So good. And the fact that Tarantino plays Jimmy in his own, in his movie that he's directing, it's all the funnier for it.
Yeah.
He's like, my wife comes home at 9:30, graveyard shift at the hospital. You know what I'm saying? It's God. By the way, where'd you get the spike? Zed. Well, who's Zed? Zed's dead, honey. Zed's dead. Butch, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So many good lines, man. What do you mean walk the earth? Like Kane in Kung Fu. Listen, Jules, if you don't have a job, a residence or legal tender, you're going to be a bum, a fucking bum.
Oh, yeah. So good. Then he gets Kane from Kung Fu to be in Kill Bill. So
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Yeah. Because I've only
Yeah,
seen
so
I've seen bits and pieces of Kill Bill Volume 1, but I never saw
that's
Volume
volume.
2.
Yeah, I guess he's in both volumes. But yeah, David Carradine, who was Kane in Kung Fu, is
Oh, that's right.
still.
That's right. You know what? I'm sorry, Ed. I didn't put the two and two together, but you're right. There you go. See, the more you know. Fun facts brought to you by our good friend here, Ed Davis. Well, I do want to take this opportunity because this has been a heck of a conversation. I got to be honest with you, Ed. I've learned so much about you in a very short period of time, and I've also learned that Ed Davis and we're some potty co here, and we got a lot in common. We got a lot of stuff we can jibber jabber about for 3 hours, pops. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to interfere with your
Yeah.
studio and your limitations, because in the words of our good friend Eastwood, man's got to know his limitations. And I think we've hit our limit. So I'm going to say thank you, Ed Davis, for being our guest on this episode of Freewheeling Fridays. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast.
I hope you've enjoyed getting to know the host and producer of this program a little bit better, me. So, and we put links in the comments for everybody. The Kickstarter is there. The Amazon link for the book I got published in, the anthology, I should say, is there. And Memoirs of an Angel, the Great Pilgrim, which is a crossover between Lord of the Rings, which Ed Davis likes, and The Exorcist, is in the comments as well. Ed, it's been great seeing you. It really has. So we're going to get into congratulations on Immortal Era, because that sounds like a radical series of comics that are coming our way, right? And you got the Kickstarter going right now. So speaking of which, if someone wants to know more about you or contribute to the campaign, where can they follow you?
On all social media, you can find me under Finish Line Comics. I have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X, which I don't post much on X, but I do have it. So you can find me on those platforms. And yeah, you can tune in on Madness on Wednesday nights, First Impressions. We talk about different albums each week. And then Saturday mornings, tune in on Saturday Morning Comic Talk. But yeah, if you search Finish Line Comics, you'll find me and can check everything out. And then Immortal Era 11 is live on Kickstarter now. I'm also part of the anthology Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales Volume 2. And that it ended today, but there's late pledges available for that book. And I wrote a short story merging Dunwich Horror and the Midas Touch. So that was my contribution to Volume 2. And that one, as I said, it's not currently live, but it's accepting late pledges. And he's going to have late pledges open for, I think he said, about another week. So you can check that one out too. I had 2 campaigns running at the same time, which I realize is an exhausting endeavor. And I'll have to think about that again. And I know Lori also has a story in that volume as well.
Fantastic. More the merrier, as one might say. But thank you, kind sir, for being here. It was great to see you. Great to meet you. I'm going to talk to you here again momentarily. So please feel free to stick around, grab some food and drinks in the non-existent green room that we have backstage. I am your host, Ron of Anti-Quote Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media, simply at Anti-Quote Channel. Links are located in the description below, where you can follow Ed Davis and myself. Once again, links for the Western Tales Volume 1 anthology I got published in recently from Veritas Entertainment is in the comment section. The Kickstarter campaign for Ed Davis is, in fact, in the comment section. And Brian Rodman's Kickstarter for Memoirs of an Angel, the Great Pilgrim's audiobook, specifically the audiobook format of it, is in the comments of this episode. We support indie creators. We hope you are encouraged to do the same. With that being said, do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. Check me out on Anti-Quote Channel. I talk about movies, TV series, books. I interview indie creators on Anti-Quote Show, which is Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern. Movie watch-alongs, which is like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 deal that we do, is on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time, just to give everyone some timetables, because everybody's in different time zones. And once again, thank you for supporting this show and supporting everything that we do here at the Matters Entertainment Group. And let's give a shout out to some great creators out there as well. Take a look.